Today on Newtown Orchard and Nursery, we're going to bring you over to our chicken coop to show you some ideas of how to keep your chicken coop cheap and easy to maintain. So come on along. So here at Newtown Orchard and Nursery, we like to practice what we call lean farming. And the idea of this is to not necessarily get rid of work, but to get rid of the excess work, the waste. The first thing we're going to work on today is the chickies and the chickens watering system. As you can see at the bottom of these buckets, there's a crack that's formed across the very center. I've put some Gorilla Tape over it to try to buy me some time, but it's really time to replace these buckets. So the way the bucket system works is the bucket itself is sealed and air cannot get in, water cannot get out, except for down below where these holes are. That's where the water will come out. As the pan is full of water above those holes, it no longer will flow out. But when the water is drunk by the chickens and it goes below the hole, the water will come out. Because of the crack, the air can get in and nothing stops the water from flowing. So these will run out of water in a very short period of time. Sealed, they'll last days. Unsealed, you might get a half a day before this is empty. So we're going to fix it, or we've got to replace it. To start with, I use a 1/2-inch drill bit. Yours doesn't have to be a 1/2 inch. You don't want it to be too much larger or smaller, but close to a 1/2 inch will work just fine. So I use a Menards bucket, a Home Depot bucket, a Lowe's bucket. Any of these strong, sturdy painter's buckets will work just fine. You want it to be clean. But then on this, I use as my measurement 1, 2, 3 lips. I come down to just above the 3rd lip here and make sure it's in the middle between the handles. Makes it easier makes it easier to carry and makes it easier to place into the watering pans, and there's less waste that way. It's just an easier way of doing it. Take your drill and we're going to drill a hole right through, again, just above the 3rd lip. Next thing you want to do is get all the plastic pieces out and even clean up around the lip here. If you need to get a little blade to clean that up or a little knife, that's fine. I'm going to fill the bucket up, of course, all the way up to that hole. Oh. And as you can see, the water is pouring out now. I also recommend putting a little bit of water in the main pan. It is by an extra day, or depending on temperature, an extra half a day. Last but not least, we're going to transfer over the lid from the old bucket. The old bucket had that crack. Lid looks like it's in good condition. Now make sure these are the lids that seal tight. Usually you can get them with the bucket at big box stores. And make sure it's sealed really well. Now I'm putting the bucket into the pan, and then I let the handle just drop to the bottom so it's out of the way and the chickens don't run a risk of getting caught up in it. I also normally like to put my bucket to one full side of the pan, leaving much more room for them to get their water on the opposite side. So your hole should always be on your low side. If not, it'll continue to try to fill up on this side and just drip out over here, and you'll lose your water very quickly. So again, the hole should be on the low side, wherever the low side of the pan is. 1 down, 2 to go. Now during the summer, we'll use these plastic pans, and they hold up just fine for the water. But in the winter, we use heating elements, and these will melt. We've had that happen. So we switch over to the metal. The next thing we want to work on is how to construct an inexpensive fence to keep your chickens safe on the inside and the predators on the outside. Originally what we did is we took this old woven field fencing that came with the farm and we created a chicken run out of it. Unfortunately, the chickens can get through these squares easy enough and critters can get through. So we took care of the first problem, and that was the chickens getting out, by going to the hardware store, the big box stores, and we picked up this plastic fencing. Commonly used, you see it in for construction or whatever around gardens and such. But we just needed a couple of feet off the ground, and that's only 2 feet. And that we put in front of the woven wire. That keeps the chickens from getting out, and it did a wonderful job. They don't get up any higher, so we didn't have to worry about that. So that was step one. That was a cheap and easy way of doing it. And if you don't have this woven wire laying around anywhere, then generally you can find some of this, especially used stuff. It's rusty. You don't want too bad, but usually you can find this on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that. People selling it pretty cheap. So you start with that. And then I pick up as well some of these lightweight 4-foot T-posts. And it does a pretty good job. Won't take a whole lot of force, but it'll hold back a chicken. It'll hold back most critters as well. I showed you what we did with that green plastic fencing to keep the chickens in the coop. Now let me show you what we did to help keep the critters, the foxes, the opossums, the raccoons, to keep them out. We found on Facebook Marketplace a couple of these solar recharging units used to power up electric fencing. They were pretty inexpensive. The people had retired. They were moving to Florida and getting rid of everything on their farm. So they ran us $60, but they've been worth it. We've had them now for 2.5 years. We did have to replace the battery. That wasn't too expensive. But they've been able to power our electrical lines for a while. Then we ran electric wire. We actually only needed one, and it was sufficient, but to play it safe because of our dog, we kept 2. We had one up a little bit higher. And these stay charged and keep the critters from getting in. So we're going to move on to their nesting boxes. We had, for fun, built this covered wagon in which could be moved around in the yard. And it only holds 2 nesting boxes. And we've got 20 laying chickens, so it's a little tight. So we upgraded to these metallic nesting boxes. And these are a bit pricier. A cheap way would be to cut a couple of milk crates, stack them on top of some bricks to get them off the ground, and stuff them with some hay. Next on the list is the feeder. Let me show you the beauty of this feeder. To start with, these holes down below, the chickens can easily get to their feed. But most importantly, and I've got 6 of them on this garbage can, but most importantly, we can fill up almost 100 pounds of feed on the inside, which will last, well, weeks. I think we fill this twice in the course of 4 or 5 weeks. And this is 20 hens plus a rooster. This is definitely a way to go. So let me show you how we make this. To build this feeder, you're going to need a few supplies. One is plastic garbage can with the lid. And this is a 32-gallon garbage can. We decided to go with the cheaper ones, and that's what we've used in the past. They've lasted for years. We keep the feeders inside the coop, so it's out of direct sunlight for the most part, and it's out of the rain and ice and such. So I recommend just go with the cheaper material. Anyways, 32-gallon garbage can. Oh, and in our garbage can, we have 90-degree street elbows, and these are 2-inch. And they can be found at, again, any hardware store or box store that carries plumbing supplies, PVC supplies. For me, I'm going to do 6. Caulk gun, and liquid nails. All right. Also, you're going to need a good case cutter or razor blade. Keep with you a good pair of shears, a heavy duty pair of shears. May not need them, but just in case, hold on to them. To start off on the garbage can, I need to keep in mind that these chickens are which are about, they're about, well, a foot off the ground, but they're gonna reach their head in through the PVC to reach down and get the food. So I want it to be high enough to be comfortable for them to go down in there, but I don't want it too low to where they gotta squat down and get in there. And you don't want it too high to where they're choking themselves trying to get the food as well. So using this ruler, I estimated that we're going to need to be right around the 6-inch area. Okay? And 6 inches right there. So I'll do a little cross mark. Now I'll go spin around and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these ribs. So that'll make it easy for me as far as where I'm going to be drilling these holes. So again, 6-inch. Do my cross mark. Also, I recommend, if you've got it, a hair dryer, and I'll show you why. We're going to warm up the bucket to take the stress so it doesn't crack the plastic. Heating up this plastic really made a difference. A lot easier to cut. If you want to start it with a small drill hole, you can. I just sliced it in there. Let's see how that fits. All right. And there you go. Hole number 1 complete. Now we'll move over to hole number 2. And again, we'll use the hairdryer to warm up and loosen up the plastic. And in place. And we'll put the rest of them in. So make sure you have these 90 degrees or you have these curved straight down into the food. And I'd recommend cleaning out the pieces of plastic left behind. You don't want your chickens will eat that and you really don't want them to. Feeders are all in place. Now let's glue them in. They are all glued in. A little bit messy with the glue. But as Katie would keep telling me, John, it's a chicken feeder. Anyways, let the glue dry and then it shall be ready to be filled up with chicken feed. So here are some great ideas to how to reduce the work and the cost of taking care of chickens. There is one other thing I want to show you, and that is where you keep your chicken feed as opposed to where the chicken coop is. Let me show you what we do. Come along. Now, right outside our chicken coop, we keep a bucket of water, and that actually has 2 purposes. Purpose 1, it keeps the door shut and it's heavy enough where the dog won't drag it away. But purpose 2 is it's water for the dog. We also keep a can right outside the door. The can is our scratch. But there is no reason to keep this over in the barn or in the garage. Keep it right next to the chicken coop. And inside the chicken coop, we have a 55-gallon drum. This 55-gallon drum is where we keep the chicken food. Again, there is no reason that this needs to be hauled across the yard from the barn or the garage to feed the chickens. Looks like it's about time to get some more feed, huh? Store your chicken feed right outside in the chicken coop. So there you go. Some of our advice on how to take care of chickens and have a chicken coop a little less expensive and a lot more convenient. If you found anything useful, please send us a comment. Let us know what it was. Also, don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe. So take care. And until we see you on the next video, God bless you.
There's a chicken in the yard so free. She's got a secret, just wait and see. She clucks around with a little